Shenzhen, China. Right. China, I'm gonna tell you, is one of my favorite places in the world. 30 seconds. Okay. Right. China is one of my favorite, maybe the best place in the world when it's empty. That's a very provocative phrase. I understand that very well. And in that regard, well, I don't want to underestimate this place. I don't want to say something bad about the place, but everybody knows and everybody would associate China with crowd, lots of people, huge, huge amounts of people. And in that regard, yes, life, unfortunately, right, like for Westerners, would not become very pleasant here, just because it's always noisy, it's always very loud, it's all these vibrations. Like once in my lifetime, my colleague, my ex-colleague from the States, he said, Tony, just relax. This is just the sound of progress. The sound of progress. He had been living here in China for 8 years. Then eventually he moved back to the States. Right. So yeah, it's no surprise at all. It is very noisy place, and something big is coming here, and this something big is called Chunjie. Chunjie means Chinese New Year. We call it New Year, in accordance with the lunar calendar. It is called lunar calendar, lunar um, zodiac year, the horse New Year of golden horse, they call it here in China. And yeah, we call it Chinese New Year, but the Chinese people call it Spring Festival because this event symbolizes the beginning of spring, the beginning of the new year. Maybe we could even say a new agricultural year, just because it's time to plant some seeds, Whew, a bit cold, a bit cold today. Frankly speaking, I did not expect it. Yesterday it was better. Yesterday's morning was better. Right, by the way, it's 7 a.m. right now. 7, is it 7? Wait up. 7, yeah, 6:57 right now. It's early morning here in China, and that's why it is also empty. And just like I said, China is the best place in the world with all this infrastructure, with all this new, what is this? With all this new environment because of these incredible bridges, incredible buildings, incredible shopping malls, etc. Hi, morning. Who's that? Princess Roblox. Morning, morning. Right, and yeah, as I said, because of all this new infrastructure, China is a perfect place, absolutely great one. Like there's literally everything, right? Charging stations, new EVs, right? New bridges, new parks, new infrastructure in every aspect of life. And there's only one minus, right? Population. Too many people, and this is a fact. But as I said, Spring Festival is coming. It's this year, the Chinese New Year. We call it Spring Festival here again, I'm going to say. And we're going to celebrate, okay, they're going to celebrate it here on 16th of February this year. And basically, yeah, for 2 weeks, China will be a great place to live. Here in Shenzhen, in other cities in China, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, you name it, the cities will be empty. Hi, who's that? Jacob, Bastardo. Bastardo. Right, hi. Good morning. Where are you guys watching me from right now? And what is your time now? Probably it's late evening, right? Late night, right? Police, look at that. So many police motorcycles. I love motorcycles, and this particular climate here in Shenzhen is just great for having a motorcycle. But only police are allowed to have a motorcycle. And as for us, 老百姓，我们正常的人，我们老百姓不可以有一台摩托车的。Right, we are not allowed to have motorcycles. Normal, regular citizens. As for us, they allow only motorbikes, only motorbikes with electrical engines, only on batteries, powered by batteries. Right. Da Shiva says, I was in China for their. You know what? I'm gonna switch the camera so you guys would see more, and I would just read some comments. Morning cleaning services. Right. So I was in China for their New Year. I really a really empty Beijing. That is correct. And a ton of fireworks. That is right. So fireworks are going to be bothering us for the next 2-3 weeks. That is correct. Yes. And by the way, right. Thank you. Right. All right. The man always shoot at me. Right. I was gonna say, in China, did you know that in China there's no capital city's name? Everybody knows Beijing or Peking, right? As we call it. And there are no names, literally no names. Why do I say that? For example, you just take, like in my case, I'm Russian. In Russia, there are certain names of the cities, right? In America, there are certain names of the cities, like Detroit, like Chicago, yeah, Los Angeles, etc., etc. These are just names. Technically, they mean nothing, right? They are associated with someone's name, like Washington, for example. And as for China, it's different. So the way that we make a name in China of a city, how do we name it? For example, let's start from the main city in China called Beijing. Bei means north and Jing means capital city. Yes. So it literally means north capital. Why is it called north capital? Just because there is south capital, because there's another one called Nanjing, south capital. The one that was where they had this massacre, the Japanese attacked, invaded, like 100 years ago, about 80 years ago, right? Yeah, so this disaster happened, and then they moved the capital city to the Bay. So they made another one, northern capital. And you won't believe it, but there is another capital called Dongjing, eastern capital. So eastern capital, that's the Chinese people call 3, 2, 1, ta-da, that's Tokyo. Tokyo, right. Tokyo obviously is not China, but they call the capital city of Japan, Dongjing, in Chinese language. Even though in Japanese, Tokyo, that would stand for like Tokyo. That's the same, right? But they changed the first hieroglyph, and in Chinese, on the Chinese map, you will see like Tokyo, the first To is changed to Dong. But they also quite similar. Right, and again, like here, for example, like what do we say? Nanjing. Yeah, that's right. And here in, you wanna look at Tai Chi Chuan, the morning practitioners. I'm gonna show you. Wait up. And here, for example, Shenzhen. Shenzhen is like the first tier city here in China. One of the first tier cities, along with Shanghai. Shanghai literally means on the city. Shang means on, Hai means sea. On the sea city. The city that stands on the sea. Then Shenzhen, for example. Shenzhen used to be a fishing village, and it was, well, just swamps everywhere. Swamps and small lakes, stuff like that. A lot of fishing, and that's why it's called Shen, means deep, and Zhen means trench. So it literally means deep trench city. So it was just swamp and lakes and nothing, literally, emptiness. And mountains, lots of them. Small hills, big ones. Look at that. That is beautiful, right? Tai Chi. You might think it's easy, actually no. First off, it's really good for elder people, but second, it is really good for balancing, in any age. Because, slow motion, like you try to do any exercises slowly, and it is very challenging. It is something. So they're useful for the elders. I see these these ads, they bombard me all the time on YouTube. Different, so they hired lots of Chinese English-speaking bodybuilders that good, really, really looking, like their 50s, and yeah, they just constantly attack me with these stupid ads about Tai Chi and how useful it is. Yeah, it is useful, but not crazily useful. You're not gonna look like bodybuilder, right? But it's really good stretching. It's really good practice. See? Again, it's Sunday's morning in China, and people are, some, of course, people, not everybody, are already enjoying this day. Even though most of people are sleeping in these buildings right here, right? But I don't think that they enjoy the music, right? I don't know if you guys can hear the music. By the way, you please tell me, people, please tell me if you can hear me well, because today, today I'm using a microphone. It's hidden right here. You can see that, right? Okay, I won't touch it because probably there would be some irritative sound, right? So let's cross the road. Should I cross it? Yeah, I think I will just cross it here. I'll just cross it here. So please let me know how you guys can hear me. 7 o'clock in the morning, so sun slowly rises. You can hear it normally, but sometimes the sound freezes and a little bit. Oh, right. So, well, but I believe it freezes not just because of my equipment here, right? It probably freezes because it's China and I'm using a VPN because all services are blocked in China. So yeah, there's no way. There's a policeman, so even though he's traffic police, you know, it's always better to avoid police. And okay, I'll just walk here, okay? You know, because I'm filming, people don't like when you film, especially, I mean, like government-related stuff. So yeah, there are certain techniques that you have to follow, certain patterns that you have to establish while you live here. You know, don't provoke, don't provoke. And again, foreigner is a potential threat, so it's always better to avoid such situations. Right, there aren't many people here for 7 a.m. Are there? Yeah, again, like it's Sunday. Sunday's morning, not crowded. This square, this area, is full of people in the evening. You come here at 7 or 8, and that is going to be crazily packed. And now you see empty streets. But in the evening, it's super loud, and yeah, lots of people. Okay, I can jaywalk now. So yeah, actually today I was gonna talk to you about migrating to China. So is it worth to move to China? Is it worth to learn the language? Oh, I really hate these barriers. You know, they always like they not just they have these bollards everywhere, these pillars everywhere, but they install the additional layer of fences. Okay, fences. It's everything. Well, just like quite similar to Russia. In Russia we also have lots of fences. Tesla. Tesla is officially the best PV in China, car brand. Yeah. So, is it worth to move to China for life? Is it worth to learn the language? Those are the questions that I was going to discuss with you today. You know, nobody cares. I'll just cross up. Okay, it's green. I decided to jaywalk, and here we go. I ran on green. So again, would you like to move to China? Do you think you would live here in China? I've been living here for quite a while. It's been over 10 years now, and yeah, so I speak the language, and I can say lots of things I have already swallowed, yes, and just because we see those propaganda videos constantly on Instagram, YouTube stories, etc. China lives in future. It already lives in the future, in the next 50 or sometimes even 100 years from now, and the world is just totally separate in terms of development. China is super futuristic and stuff like that. But I would disagree. I would strongly disagree because China really learned, really nailed it, really mastered how to imitate success, how to imitate technologies, how to imitate good-looking stuff, including the buildings, the shining buildings, all these skyscrapers, etc. But at the same time, China still lacks creativity because there is no such thing as creativity in China. That's why we don't see those. For example, look at those Huawei phones or whatever phones, Xiaomi, etc. They always constantly like, look at that, look at this shape. It's obviously an Apple knockoff. Look at that, right? I mean, it's just constantly like reverse technologies that are trying to copy, make something similar to Apple, and it's a fact. It's a fact. All these new Xiaomi SU7, and they're just copies of Porsche, and yeah, it's all following. It's not leading. It's just following, not the leading. Right, buddy, what do you say here? So when I was in Beijing about 15 years ago, all the local drivers didn't give a damn about pedestrian crossings. That is correct. They still don't. They still don't everywhere. Right. They always honked. How's it now? Exactly the same, buddy. It's exactly the same. Nothing changed. Right. Again, if there is a policeman that actually stands at the crossing and he's kind of trying to, regulate all this traffic, then yeah, some people will actually care. But even though, like, even if there is a policeman, like, still there would be those who wouldn't care at all, right? So it's kind of same. It's kind of same. Nothing really changed, right? But in all this chaos, there are not that many traffic accidents. No, no, and this is something that I am personally surprised with because over the years I see this kind of mess, right? Because like during the daytime you would see what the traffic looks like, and you would see, yeah, that is quite messy. But they kind of like these swarms. I don't want to sound like racist or something, no, but these are kind of, it looks like swarm flaws, and they're flowing all around, and no, they don't bump into each other. So yeah. So I think it's just the habit, the lifestyle. Numbers are seriously declining right now. The new people, family, in a while, and but also they obviously after that don't want to have kids, and the population now is seriously decreasing. And it's already inevitable, right? Because there's a thing called China, like family one-child policy, and yeah, they canceled it like 7, 8 years ago, and now they even provide some money for families who have kids, like one kid, second kid. For the first two kids, I think the fee, no, the fee. What is it? Like the allowance is like 5,000 yuan, which is like $700, which is kind of okay, right? I mean, it's okay, but it's like nothing, right? Because what are you gonna get for this money? Like 1 month rent you can get for it. That's it. That's it. I mean, it's a good thing they give something, right? But they're not gonna change the situation with this uh, population. So the problem is gonna stay for a while. Yeah. So Mix City, the new shopping mall, new new center of the district. And I'm gonna go through here now. Let's. Okay, I'm late. Okay, I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. I'm late. Okay, let's cross at the next intersection then. The streets are beautiful, clean and tidy. Yeah, that's correct. That's correct. I mean, they really, really set up good services, good cleaning services everywhere because unfortunately, Chinese people don't really pay attention to hygiene and clean environment. They don't really care about the environment. But we see very clean streets in China. Very, very clean streets in China. Surprisingly clean. You may think of those like really weary buildings over there. We're gonna walk through those streets in a while, and you may think, oh come on, these are just cockroaches, cockroach centers. That's again, like in my opinion, those are just cockroach centers. Well, first off, they really are, but second, even though yeah, there are lots of cockroaches in those buildings, but I'm not talking about people. No, 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 no. Those are not people. I mean like real cockroaches, big ones. Yeah, small ones and big ones. They got them all. Right, but I'm just saying, yeah, cleaning services are really, really strong here in China. So it's one good thing. See, but it's again, it's not Japan because in Japan people sincerely care about environment and clean streets and like hygiene, and this is beautiful, absolutely terrific. But here, no, they learned how to clean everything, all the streets, etc. But unfortunately, sincerely, they don't care about clean streets. That's why, like, you can walk around and see people just, finishing like a tangerine, and they just drop it immediately. They just throw it away, right here on this clean pavement. Or they can do the same thing in elevator, for example. They can finish their drink, and they just drop the bottle. They just throw it right there in the elevator, and it's like, how the hell is this happening? How is it possible? But yeah, it is possible, and they do it. And they also claim that this is also because that's how they provide the job, provide the others with the job. Just because there's a lot of, again, population, and people need all types of jobs. Look at those buildings. Look at those buildings. Look at those. Well, they will be demolished very soon, but for now they are residential. People actually live there. You can see clothing hanging. They try to dry out their clothing in those, right? So people actually live in those buildings. And yeah, we're gonna go deep inside those districts right now. You will see more. How clean is that? All these small passages and little streets. What do they look like from the inside? A bit cold. A bit cold. I feel like it's, I think it's around 15 degrees right now. Celsius, of course. 大事哇, buddy, where are you watching me from? What is your time right now? 7:20, 7 a.m. in China. Local Khrushchev era buildings. Oh, you're so right. You're so right. Moscow region. Gotcha. So wait a second. Moscow region. That's got to be early morning for you then. So that's like 2 a.m. in Moscow. 2:20. Why the hell are you not sleeping? I forgot what we call those. I forgot what we call those pictures on the walls. There's a word. There's a word. What is like this? There's paintings on the wall, huge paintings on the wall. What do we call them? There's a word. Like not canvas, but like what is this? Remind me if you remember. I'm watching you. Right. Watching. All right, stay tuned. Stay tuned. Watching me. I got some sincere fan, right? G Hotel, 金子酒店，华住会，彩票。Right. You know, I love imitating. Oh, right. Sorry. I love imitating. I'm imitating Chinese pronunciation of the TV hosts, the way they talk, deliver information. 各位的女士们、先生们，欢迎光临参加我们今天的约会。Right. So yeah, let's continue. Let's continue. And uh, so migrating to China, would that be a good option? Would that could be a good thought to move to China? Would that be an option at all? And I'm going to start. I'm going to start from. Let's walk through here. I'm going to start from this question. The question that I get when they ask about my daughter. The locals, when they ask me, your daughter, she was she born here in China? Yes, my daughter was born here in Shenzhen. Moral. Yeah, moral. That's right. So, my daughter was born here in Shenzhen. And when Chinese people ask me about that, and they say, oh, right, so she probably has a Chinese passport, Chinese residency, right? So she's Chinese. So Chinese naively think, because they really don't know, that here in China, when you have a child, she is born here, then no way, absolutely no way that you would have Chinese citizenship because of that, because of your like birthright. No, you don't have such birthright. And in that regard, of course, it's quite sad, right? Even in Hong Kong, you can get one, right? You give birth in Hong Kong, and you have a birthright to become Hong Kongese, right? In the U.S., in Canada, right? In the UK, I think. I'm not sure about the UK, but yeah, you can give birth, and your child will be local, right? Here in China, no, it doesn't work like that. So, and I think it won't for a while. But again, just like I already mentioned, the population here is seriously decreasing. And they foresee the future, and they say the numbers will be dropped down to at least half in the next 50 to 70 years. So if now they have 1.4 billion, then later they will have the official statistics shows that there will be 600 plus 600 million people. That's a serious decrease, right? Don't you think? And so in that regard, I think there will be some changes in the policies, in their regulations, the way they regulate foreign nationals. So I think the picture will change. But the question is when, right? So even the green card, Chinese green card, it's not a green card, an actual green card, but it's something that you can't actually get here. This permanent residence permit for 10 years. There is such thing, right? But you can't. Like there's no way that you would get it. It's just not possible. No matter if you have a Chinese wife, you've got some kids, they are Chinese, etc. But no, not possible. Not possible. But I truly believe that in future, me as a not Chinese, but they call me like 中国通, like the one who understands China, 中国通, like our foreigner. Um, yeah, I think there will be such thing in the future, and they will finally grant me with the Chinese green card. Because even if there would be, like let's imagine in some parallel world where we know that I have a chance to get the Chinese passport to become a Chinese, real Chinese, right? With all the documents and uh, Chinese ID called 身份证, um, I would have to renounce my own citizenship, like whatever passports I have, Russian, American, other passports. I would have to renounce everything. Would have to say no to other citizenships that I have, because China only allows having one, which is Chinese. So you want to become Chinese, you have to renounce all the others. But it's even if that would be possible, yeah, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't renounce. People slowly are going out of the buildings and buy something for breakfast. I think it's quite boring. Don't you think we have to go inside, right? Because life is always more interesting from the inside, don't you think? So again, yeah, it's clean. It's clean because clean services, well, they do the job. Let's walk through, walking through. Here I can. No, no way that I would walk through here. Okay, let's take another complex because there is no passage through. Unfortunately, unfortunately. See, there was another police who gave me a strange look. So I'd better stay away. Look at that. Look at that. Yeah, but the good thing is that they just always walk away minding their own business.